I cannot encourage you guys to love your body when the records show that my whole life I've never been able to love my own. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to it if this is the first time you're seeing my face and crazy hairstyles. Thank you for clicking on it. My name is Jacy and I like to do story times and chit chats on this channel. And today's chit chat will be a little bit more serious toned, and we're gonna get a little bit more personal because we are talking about my struggles with body image. So I tried filming this video earlier this week and it was just not happening, you guys. I was just babbling and going around in circles, and I think it was because I wasn't articulating how I was feeling appropriately. I didn't want to make it seem like I was projecting my own thoughts onto how I view others or how I expect other people to kind of view themselves, when that is absolutely not the case. I was also kind of dancing around things as to not offend anybody or to make sure I was being as sensitive as possible. But I realized that that wasn't telling my full truth and that wasn't telling my story. So please know as I go into this video that everything within this topic is my own personal experiences. It's my own viewership of my body, my own inner dialogue, and how I've tried to kind of overcome a lot of those challenges. So please know that this is not how I think other people think. I have a wonky view of my own body image, and I kind of just wanted to explore that with you guys, start a dialogue, and maybe create a video that a lot of people you can relate to. So I would also like to emphasize at this point a trigger warning if there are any kind of body image issues you might have. I would like to emphasize that I don't talk about EDs at all. I have never had one. I would consider myself more of a fad dieter rather than a disordered eater, but that is something where if that topic makes you uncomfortable, then take care of yourself and don't watch this video. But I really just wanted to create this video to share my own journey with my body image and, hopefully create something that you guys can relate to. So if you like videos like this of story times or chit chats, or really creating a community where maybe we can all relate to certain things or kind of hear more about my experiences, then like this video. It really does help me out, and consider subscribing so you can join us for future videos. But with that being said, let's deep dive into my history of bad, negative self-image and how I've kind of come to terms with my own body image. So first, I briefly wanted to touch about growing up, because I guess that's where it all started, but it's kind of the same story that everybody has, where I grew up a little chubby, where I had my little chubby phase. I feel like everyone does, so that's not really fair for me to say. But I did have a very defining moment in terms of my chubbiness that I wanted to tell you guys about. When I think I was about 13 years old, I had to go back to my doctor for some type of physical, just kind of like an annual checkup. And I hadn't been to, at this point it was my pediatrician still, I hadn't been to him in quite some time. And so I show up, I do my physical, and my doctor, who did not have a great bedside manner — I'm laughing because I'm just trying to think of what my mom's thinking of this story, because she's like, yep, that happened — was my doctor said, all right, so the results of your physical are that you are fat and pussy. And I'm a 13-year-old girl, like a teenager in middle school. And I was like, what? And he said I had really bad acne and that I was extremely overweight. I was 160 pounds when I was like 13 years old. And he said, you need to lose weight and start eating better because you're fat and pussy. And he used those exact words. And it's still such a defining thing, because I very clearly remember it as that kind of being the very start to a lot of my body image issues, where if my doctor is telling me those things about my physical appearance, then maybe my physical appearance is a much bigger deal than what I thought it would be. I played sports growing up. I was a big sports girl. In middle school, I played every single sport that the school could offer. Even into high school, I was playing sports all the way up to varsity. I would like to emphasize that I'm a big sports girl. I love playing sports, but I'm not the best at them. I think I've talked about that in other videos, is that I am not very athletic. I am extremely competitive. And there's a big difference, is that I want my team to win. I want to get the championship trophy. But I might not be the best person to put out there on the court if you're trying to hit some three-pointers, if you guys get what I'm saying. So that was also super defining in terms of my body image. Was I was known as this very sporty girl, but then people would look at me and be like, you play soccer? And I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm the goalie. And they'll be like, oh yeah, that makes more sense. And it's like, well, what's that supposed to mean? And they're like looking me up and down going, yeah, that makes sense. So I think from a young age, in terms of like middle school and onward, I was very hyper aware of how people were perceiving my body because it wasn't meeting their expectations, in the sense of I was that athletic girl, I was super into sports, but because I wasn't this skinny, super fit or muscular person, that I didn't meet their type of ideal. And so I really started to kind of turn that into an inner dialogue and start thinking that way about myself. So that's when high school began, and that's when kind of my pattern of dieting began. That's when I really started to get into fad diets. You guys, I did Slim Fast, where I straight up was not eating food. I was eating 2 shakes a day that were supposed to be nutritional replacements, and then like a meal at night of asparagus and chicken. I remember very vividly always eating those 100-calorie snack packs where I was pretty much under eating for the most part, but I was like, okay, I know exactly how many calories are in this snack pack, and they're tasty. That's a lie. It's tasteless rabbit food pressed into cracker shapes and making you think that they're cookie thins. No, they were disgusting, but I knew they were 100 calories, so I remember constantly eating those because it felt like a better option than actually eating a normal cookie or treating myself to ice cream in the freezer. I had a phase where I would go grocery shopping on my own in high school, and I would just buy anything that said fat-free, anything that had like a green label or something that made it seem like reduced fat, low cal, something that was so chemically processed and not nutritionally complete. But because in my head that means it was fewer calories or less in fat, then that means I'm gonna lose weight or I'm going to look better. I did Weight Watchers, which actually was probably one of the most successful diets that I ever did. But it again affected my mentality, where everywhere I went, I was just always thinking about food. I was always thinking about, well, what's lowest in calories? How many points is a slice of pizza gonna be? Let me look it up real quick. And those were habits that kind of stayed with me for many, many years. And so that's why I also don't recommend that. But that's another story. I even did a terrible, terrible weight loss boot camp where they tried to steal $500 from me and make me feel bad about myself. I did a whole story time on that. So make sure to check out that video, because it was, again, another way for me to lose weight really quickly and in a not healthy way in order to establish that physical appearance that I was seeking. So in doing all of these diets, I'd like to emphasize that they were very much fad diets, where I was seeking immediate results without putting in that much effort. And so even though I was in sports, it wasn't like I was working out to be a better athlete. I mean, I was in sports because I just loved the competition and the game of it. But I was over here dieting so that way I could get a flat tummy so I can get a cool belly button ring, which was such a thing back in the early 2000s. And so I just wanted a flat tummy, you know? It wasn't about my physical endurance. It wasn't about what my body could do. It was literally about how I looked. So for as far as I can remember, I just always remember being really unkind to myself and having a very negative inner dialogue. And the reason for that was because I would do these fad diets for a few months and be miserable. Like, I don't like fat-free things. Those calorie snack packs were not delicious. And then after a few months, I'd be like, how come I didn't lose 20 pounds in a month? This diet doesn't work. I'd quit it. And then I'd go off on my own again, gain back maybe a little bit of weight, going back to my normal habits. And then the cycle kind of continues, where it's this level of toxicity in my inner dialogue where it's like, you're always failing. You're never going to lose the weight. Like, you're never going to be that skinny person because you can't stick with this diet. But then a new diet would come around and I'd be like, well, that's the one. That's what I need to try to get my flat tummy. And then the cycle would repeat. But the interesting thing about my inner dialogue was it only hated my body. I have always loved my personality, my intelligence, my family and friend support, my ability to make new friends and talk to new people and get thrown in any kind of social situation and thrive, kind of thing. So I have always really valued that about myself. And I loved my personality. But the reason for that was I think I kind of overcompensated in terms of my own conscience, in the sense of, you have the personality, you have the social intelligence and the book intelligence. You have everything going for you. But you're fat, so you're never going to succeed in life. And that's kind of what I would always think to myself is, man, if I could just have a dang thigh gap like these girls on Pinterest, then I could be the most popular girl in school. Or wow, if I could just lose these last 20 pounds, all of the guys will finally like me. I've never had anybody like me back, but it's because I'm not skinny enough. But you know, once I get skinny, then everybody will love me because I have everything else to offer. And so I think I've always struggled with my body image because it was always that missing link. It was always that one thing that I just wasn't doing well enough on. And so it was always something that I hyper-focused on. So then became another toxic cycle of doing diets just to be skinny. And it wasn't until college that somebody pointed out to me, not in a bad way, they kind of just like pointed out and I realized it, was that I was making my whole personality about being that girl who was always on a diet. Or being that girl where my New Year's resolution was to always lose 10 pounds and then never actually doing it. Or buying clothes that were too small for me for the sole sake of using it as encouragement to lose weight to fit into that pair of shorts or to fit into that dress. And so it really opened my eyes that people were viewing me as not somebody who did work out or somebody who enjoyed fitness or somebody who liked sports, but for somebody who was always on a diet because they essentially hated their body and was always looking for ways to change it. And again, that sucks because I think a big part of it was I would see results with some of these crazy diets or workout routines that I'd be doing where I'd lose 20 pounds and then be like, cool, I did it. And then go back to living how I was, gain 20 pounds again, and then get really sad, diet again, start a crazy insanity DVD workout program, lose the 20 pounds, and the cycle repeats. And so I was my own toxic worst enemy. But it wasn't until college that I realized it was kind of seeping out into my relationships with others where it was kind of all I could talk about. It was my whole personality in the sense of what crazy diet am I doing or what DVD workout did I pick up? And I didn't want to be that person anymore. I didn't want to be that person whose sole personality was wanting to change how their body looked. So post-college, I had a big mindset change where I was like, that's it. I'm not doing any more fad dieting. I kind of got really in a good mental health space where I was like, I don't need to do these crazy diets to lose weight. If I want to lose weight, that's awesome, but I can do it in these type of healthy, tried and true manners and not do any kind of crazy fad diets, which was awesome. And to be clear, I still do experiment with different types of eating in the sense of I'll go vegan for a couple of weeks or vegetarian, or I just kind of try to reduce my dairy or my gluten intake. But it's not so much about losing weight for those reasons. It's very much how it makes my body feel energy-wise. So I would just like to preface it by that I still do things in terms of my diet, but I don't consider it a fad diet where if there's a new Whole30 thing that comes out, I promise I'll never do Whole30 again because that's a very limiting, restrictive diet where I'm trying to see physical results. And that is a goal that I don't want to have anymore. And so with this mindset change, because I wasn't doing these fad diets or these fad workouts anymore, was I kind of learned the true value in moving your body, doing things that you enjoy. I used to go to 24-hour fitness and take their Zumba class, and I loved it. I love dancing, and it's literally just an hour of dancing. And then after an hour, the old me would have looked at my Fitbit and gone, what the heck? I only got like 10,000 steps and burned 200 calories in an hour. Yeah, that makes sense because it's not a super high intensity workout class. So the old me would have stopped going to Zumba and instead suffering through a cycle class. I freaking hate cycling. Oh my God, I hate those stupid bikes with all of my heart. I hate it. I don't like it, and it's not something I enjoy, but I know I'd see more results. But instead, I found comfort in, you know what? I am moving my body, I am exercising, and I'm doing it in a way that I'm having fun. That is so much more important than losing weight or then getting that flat tummy or getting toned Michelle Obama arms because I was just a lot more satisfied in that. And so I finally got to a place where I'm like, I'm not yo-yo dieting anymore, and I'm exercising in a great way. I finally stopped the trend of yo-yo dieting. But I had another turning point where I realized I haven't stopped my yo-yoing self-perception. So I had another turn for the worst a couple of years ago where I had to move back in with my parents and I was kind of starting over new in the dating world. And my body image was kind of at the forefront of my mind because I was dating again and because I knew other people would be perceiving my body and not my boyfriend of 8 years anymore. What's interesting about this time was that I was probably at the lowest physical weight and lowest measurements that I had been in so many years. So you think I would be so confident in the sense of, hey, I'm ready to get out there and dating. I'm the skinniest I've been in years. This is awesome. But no, even though I had gotten to a place where I was happy, all of a sudden that became the new standard of being heavy again, if that makes sense. Again, I'm trying to get you guys inside of my psyche in terms of how I was thinking and how negative my self-talk was, where even at my lowest, that all of a sudden became my highest, where that became my new before photo, where that became, okay, this is now bad, and now I need to get to this level in order to feel happiness again that I once did when I reached this goal level. Does that kind of make sense? And so my self-perception, again, took a turn towards the negative. And that's when I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to this, but the pandemic hit and then all you could do was stay inside. And for me, that meant a lot of scrolling on social media. And that was watching all these people really harness the power of being locked down at home and losing 20 pounds in a couple of months, or doing these crazy at home workouts and utilizing the time to not go to events and other social activities to really work on themselves. And so I really started to compare myself to others, not only in the sense of my physical body again, which is such a shame, but also in my mindset and motivation of I was so sad and I was really struggling to get out of bed every day. But then I'd go on TikTok and I'd see these girls doing a that girl routine and doing Chloe Ting workouts followed by a HIIT exercise and then a green juice. And I was like, I don't think I've eaten today. Like, how the heck are they doing this? I'm just not good enough. I just must not want to be skinny enough. I don't have the motivation. Like, what's wrong with me? Do you really want to change your body, JC? Or do you want to be this schlubby for forever? And my self-talk and my inner dialogue really started to get mean again. I moved out of my parents' house. I moved to LA. And I think my comparisons to others really took a turn for the worst. And it wasn't even people in LA. Like, LA had nothing to do with it. I still barely leave my apartment. There's a lot of body diversity out here in LA. Don't believe everything you see on social media. Like, that's one thing. But it was social media that was making me compare myself, because I'd see people be like, hi, I'm 5'4" and 140 pounds, and here's how I lost 20 pounds. I now weigh 120. And I'd be like, oh man, I'm 5'4" and 140 pounds. I didn't realize I had 20 pounds to lose. And if I do, I'll look like her? Dang. I better get on it. And that's when probably my most disordered action started happening, where I started body checking. And this is fascinating to me, you guys, because I had no idea that I was doing it or that it was a bad thing until social media actually pointed it out. So what I would do is every night, because I do live by myself, is I would go and try on my clothes. Every night I would compulsively try on the same pants, the same shorts, the same dresses, and see if they fit differently, or see if all of a sudden I was comfortable in wearing them. And mind you, these items were probably too small. I probably thrifted them knowing that they were a size or two smaller than what I actually was, and using that as a guide to see if I had any weight loss. And this also came from a place of forced positivity, where I was like, yeah, I don't weigh myself anymore because the scale is not indicative of your overall health. But instead of weighing myself, I would just try on the same pairs of shorts every single night and see if they fit me a little less tightly, or if I can finally button them. And then I'd be like, okay, cool, I am losing weight. So it was still a disordered mentality. And I would constantly be trying on these clothes. But then it was as if every time I went into a mirror, I had to look into the mirror, turn to the side, and I would grab my stomach. And I'd grab my belly, pinch here, pinch there, and be like, don't worry, we're going to get rid of you. You're going to be gone soon. Like, I hate you. I hate you. You're going to be gone soon. And that's when I learned that that's body checking, and that's really bad. And what body checking essentially is that all you can think about is your body. Every time you pass a mirror, every time you put on clothes, you're only thinking about your body and how it looks, and you are checking your body to see what it looks like. And it was kind of debilitating, because it came to the point where all I could think about was my body. And you guys, this was crazy, because I wasn't even going out to events. I wasn't even going out to dinners. This was literally me in my own cocoon, in my own apartment, only perceiving myself and telling myself as I try on these clothes that I look terrible. And I did feel kind of like a fraud, because here I was doing this YouTube channel, posting on social media where I am this happy and positive person. And I truly am. That's all real. But I also felt like a fraud, because you guys don't see how many outfit changes I had before I started filming that video. Or you see the one photo I post on Instagram, but you don't see the hundreds of others where every time I look at that photo, I go, ooh, my stomach looks too big there. Ooh, my God, my thighs look huge. No. And I delete them, say awful things about myself before I finally find the one with the perfect angles and the perfect lighting that I'm like, all right, my body looks suitable enough for this to post. And so again, it came from this place of, I guess, forced positivity, where because I wasn't sharing those struggles with you guys, that I was lying to you. But that's not necessarily the case, because, I'm still opening up to you guys. But I do remember there was one day where I did a video, I'll leave it linked here, where I rented out a photo studio with my brother and his girlfriend. And we rented it out for a few hours just to get a ton of content and a ton of Instagram photos. And I kind of had a little bit of a breakdown during that studio session. And just to be totally transparent with you guys, because I want to make sure that I'm being honest with you, I was actually getting very hung up on my body image during the photos. So I remember I put on this one dress at this one point, and I was taking these photos, and I just kept staring at the photos on my camera thinking, why do I look so chubby? Like, why do I look so heavy? That doesn't even look like me. And then I'd change outfits. I'd put on like jeans and a shirt, like, okay, maybe this one will be better. And then I would sit on a chair and I'd be like, why does my stomach have so many rolls? Why do I look so heavy? Why do I look so chubby? Like, this isn't me. And so I was spending a lot of time over analyzing my body and being really, really mean to myself. And I kind of didn't really notice it until my brother told me to stop. So there was at one point where he's like, how's it going over there? And I was like, I look so heavy, I look so fat. And he goes, stop it, you're beautiful, stop it, you know? And that's when I kind of realized like, oh, I wasn't even doing it in a joking way anymore. I was straight up being mean to myself. And I feel like that's a really good example of how I was up there guzzied up, all dressed up, taking fun photos, having this good time, and I still couldn't get out of my own head of thinking of my own body and being so mean to it. And that's when I had another turning point for the better, I'll say, where I had this one night where, you know, I lit some candles, I went and sat in my beanbag chair, and I started journaling. And I was journaling and journaling, and I couldn't stop. And I'm journaling, and I'm crying, and I'm like, why is my body still the missing piece? How come I can't get my body to where I want in order to be happy? And I really did have this weird breakthrough. I don't know how to describe it to you guys, but I looked up, do I want to share this? Yeah, I'll share this. I can't look into the camera when I say this though, it's weird. So I looked up this article of like how to deal with negative body image. And the article said, get naked and stand in front of a mirror. And I just started crying because I was like, I can't do that. I can't look in the mirror. I can't look at my body and face my body like that. And it was the strangest thing. I took off all my clothes and I just had my back turned to this mirror crying, going, I can't look. I turned and I faced the mirror, and it was as if this weird whoosh, this weird clarity came through where finally something in my own psyche kind of turned on, and it was like, look at yourself. It's never been about your body. It's always been about you. I'm sick of crying in my videos, by the way. That's why I'm not looking at you, because if I look at you guys, I'm going to cry. But I was like, it's always been you. You've said it yourself. You have the personality. You have the friends, the family, the social intelligence, the book smart intelligence. Like, you are so well-rounded. It's never been about your body. It's always been about how you view your body. And that is the missing piece. It's always been you. Ugh. And it was so weird. It was like, again, this weird night of just finally realizing, oh my gosh, I don't want to hate my body anymore. I've never had fun hating my body. It's never been something that I've enjoyed. And I'm ready to move past that point. I'm ready to stop hating my body. The issue was that I wasn't ready to start loving my body. And that's kind of something I'll get into. But I was finally ready to stop hating my body. So that's when I learned about body neutrality. So body neutrality is this really cool thing where you just don't think about your body in its physical form. It was really about unlearning a lot of these harmful myths that you've probably been self-imposing on yourself for the past few years and kind of relinquishing that control. So for me, what that meant was if I went hard on the weekends, eating a bunch of sweets and savory food or drinking alcohol, then that means I don't have to go to the gym and try to work it off and overcompensate for all the extra calories because I might put on a few pounds. Instead, it meant enjoy yourself because the memories will compensate for how your body might change. And if it does change, bodies change. That's fine. You're living your best life. Just get back on track when you need to. It also meant not face tuning my photos and slimming down my jaw or tucking in my tummy if I thought it was sticking out too much in photos. And really embracing my body and being like, that's what it looks like. But I still look good. Like, I still look great. And, you know, maybe I'll edit it, you know, I'll brighten my eyes a little bit or bring out my curls a little bit. but not changing my body at all and really focusing on the fact that, hey, this is a good picture, it's a moment in time, and I want to share it with others. It also meant that when I get dressed in the morning, not standing in front of the mirror and going, how do my arms look in this though? Like, how does my stomach look? But being like, this is a cute outfit. I want to wear it out because I feel good in this outfit and I feel adorable. It's not about how my body looks, but how I'm projecting and how I feel in this outfit. And this outfit makes me look and feel cute. And in terms of exercising and eating, it really became about not what my body looks like, but what my body can do. So kind of going back to like cutting out maybe more meat or more dairy. It wasn't in the effort to try to slim down anywhere or get skinny. It was because, you know what, dairy kind of makes my stomach a little bubbly, or you know what, meat is expensive and not great for the environment. I can cut down a little bit there. And then in terms of my body, I really have gotten to a good point where it was about what my body can do. How much heavier can I lift? How much further can I run? And it didn't so much become, oh, I'm gonna do this lower ab workout every single night for 2 months because that's what I want to target. And that's the area of my body that I wanna fix. Because that's not what's making me feel better. And that's not what's improving any of my energy levels or my capabilities. And it's really, again, just only making me think about my body. So that kind of brings us to today. Where am I now in terms of my body image? I think I've gotten to a really good place with my body image because I don't think about it that much. And that has a big part to do with body neutrality, where I try to look in a mirror, and if I start thinking about my body, I have to walk away. I did have to have a week in my house where I covered all of the mirrors, actually, and just kind of tried to break the habit of always looking into the mirror when I went into my bedroom to see how my stomach looked or to see how my legs looked. And so I've gotten to a good point where I'm trying not to think about my body so much, and it is so freeing. I joined a gym that I love, and it is incredible because I have been enjoying going to the gym to try to beat my personal records. You guys, I ran a 10-minute mile recently, and that may seem really slow if you're a runner, but that was a huge accomplishment because I think last year I was running a 12-minute mile. And it's really becoming about, okay, how much faster can I get? How many seconds can I tick off of my total time and create this personal record? I've started picking up heavier weights during my classes and being like, oh my gosh, I was at a 12-pound like 2 months ago, but now I'm doing the 15 pounds and it's getting easier. Like, this is nuts. I'm actually getting stronger and I can sense that. I take my Hollywood sign walk at least twice a month. And I can do it now without stopping. That is not something that I was able to do before. It is something that I am so proud of because I really can see how my endurance is improving and how it's affecting a lot of these things that I'm doing in my day-to-day life. I'm not wearing it now, but my Fitbit actually tracks my resting heart rate. This time last year, my resting heart rate was 10 beats per minute on average more than it is now. I got my resting heart rate down 10 beats per minute. That is such a non-scale and a non-physical achievement that, again, things have become so much more about what my body can do and how I can improve it internally. And it's not so much about my physical appearance. Now, I, of course, 100% would be lying to you guys if I said I wasn't a little bit happy with some of the physical results of changing my mindset. Because I am kind of working harder in the gym or going to the gym because now I just actually enjoy it, I have seen some physical results. And, you know, they are kind of exciting. I'm kind of like, wait, I went down a belt loop, or hey, this dress kind of fits a little bit nicer. That's awesome. But I feel like the big difference with my mindset now versus what it was before I would hyper focus on the negative things or the things that I wasn't doing well enough or fast enough. Before, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I lost 10 pounds, but it took you 4 months to do it. How embarrassing. You better do something to kind of kickstart and accelerate this weight loss. Otherwise, what's the point? Or I'd see a girl on TikTok lose 30 pounds in 3 months, and I'd be like, oh yeah, because she fully committed to it. You're not fully committed. You need to make some drastic changes if you want to see some results, because right now it's just not happening. Where right now, my mindset is focusing on the positives. It's focusing on all the new things I can do that I couldn't do before, and taking pride in the actual journey and being like, hey, look how far I've come. That's kind of cool. And if I don't see the results that I'm looking for, it's not so much as beating myself down and being disappointed in myself. It's just kind of like, hey, life happens, you know, bodies change, and that's fine. You're still awesome. Like, it's still cool. Now it's like, yeah, that weekend trip that you took where you ate out every single meal and haven't seen a vegetable in 3 days, that was so fun, right? Like, that was such a great time with your friends. Yeah, you're probably not feeling all that great on the inside now, but hey, let's get back on track. Let's get back to making your body feel good again. Let's start eating some salads and going for walks, you know? But don't push it. It's no big deal. You had a great time, and that's all that matters. So I'd say right now, my ultimate focus is about how does my my body feel? What can my body do? And not so much about what it looks like. And it has been such a freeing thing to not think about what it looks like anymore. And whether that goes up or down, I can confidently say that I am not so much disappointed in it anymore, and I'm not having that inner dialogue where I hate myself because of it. But it is something nice to be like, who cares? You've always been more than your body. And it's always been you. That's kind of been my mantra. It's always been you. It's always been your personality that people love. It's always been your loyalty or your thoughtfulness that people love. It's never been about your body for others. So why should it be about your body for you? And that's kind of been my mantra moving forward. And so for the final section of this video, I wanted to talk about why. Why am I telling you guys this? Why now? And a big part of it is that, I want to share my stories because I find that a lot of you guys find them relatable, or you can kind of find comfort in the fact that some people have struggled with the same things you guys have. And so I appreciate kind of starting a dialogue within the comments and really being that relatable person to you. But I feel like a big part of what I wanted to tell you guys about this is right now I'm at a good place with my body. I barely think about it. I'm focusing on the positives and not so much the negatives. But that might not be true in a few years or in a few months. I am that person who I will always struggle with my insecurities, and my self-perception does kind of yo-yo. And I feel like it would be very disingenuous for me to tell you guys to love your bodies, to love yourselves, to be body positive, to be body confident, when I have never loved my body, and I don't know if I ever will love my body. I think the best that I can do personally is be neutral with my body and just be like, yep, this is my body and that's it. No overtly positive or negative feelings towards it, but that's just how it is. I would never lie to you guys and say that I love my body and that I'm finally at a place where I am completely body confident no matter how my body looks. I don't think I will ever stop caring about the way that my body looks. But what I can promise you guys is that I am actively working towards minimizing the negative inner dialogue and focusing on all of the positive things. So I wanted to set this foundation and this base in case I do more videos in the future about my body, that I want you guys to know that it comes from a place where I have struggled with it for many, many years. And it's something that I will continue to struggle with, but I've gotten to a point where it's not so much about how I look, but again, what my body can do. So I just wanted to really emphasize that, see if you guys can relate, start a dialogue in the comments, and set that groundwork in case I do future videos about my body and other kind of physical things. So am I gonna start doing videos of like, how to get a bikini body in 10 weeks? No. But I might do these YouTuber workouts and see if I can hold my plank a little bit longer as a result. Or I might start doing like these Chloe Ting or Daisy Keach kind of workouts for the sake of seeing how I can improve my body and not just, look, I got 2 new abs. Pew pew. Isn't that great? I look so much better. So again, I hope this part makes sense. I know I'm rambling here at the end, but it's kind of hard to articulate my own thoughts on my own body perception without projecting that onto others. So I hope you guys can understand. But that has been my journey with body image and kind of opening up to you guys about my path towards body neutrality. I had like pages and pages of notes, and I still don't even think I said everything that I wanted to say or articulate everything appropriately. But that's the thing about body image, is that it's confusing and it's ever changing, and I'm doing my best to kind of express that to you guys. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did relate to some things in this video, just know that you aren't alone and that you too can find the path to body neutrality and not even have to think about yourself and talk to yourself in such a negative way, because there's more to life than being mean to yourself. I mean, life is a wonderful thing. There's so many great things to do that why are we being the biggest bully to ourselves? I don't want to be a bully to myself anymore. And that should be the biggest takeaway of this video. But I thank you guys so much for watching. If you like me and my videos, maybe consider subscribing or following me on social media if you want to see a lot of my more personal day-to-day life activities. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Toodles! And my negative self-talk was getting so bad where I'd be like, oh my God, like you're so schlubby. Oh my gosh. Kick the cord. It's like even my light is like, stop negatively talking about yourself. You're beautiful. Love yourself. I'm trying, light. Oh, my cats. All right, let's try that again.